How many of you have read the notes, or at least you have gone through it? I don't need the deep reading, at least a little. Have you not? See, many of you were behind the notes, and it really hurts when you don't read the notes. Okay, it's fine. So the most important thing is that, as you know, the vaccination for plus 18 has begun. So I request all the students to take vaccination. Vaccinate yourself as soon as it is possible. If you want the virtual class, or if you want your college life to taste again, you need to be vaccinated yourself. Once the vaccination of the plus 18 population is over, only then the government is thinking to reopen the college for the students. Now it is open for lecturers since the Monday. I mean, since 21st of June, we all have started to come to college. Okay. So it is compulsory for all the students to vaccinate themselves. And I guess only those students, it is my assumption, those students who have been vaccinated, they are able to come to college very soon. I mean, in the middle of August or by the end of September, they may regulate another rules. Okay. So prior to that, try to complete your both the dose and come to college. Take care of yourself. That is very important. The value for your lives is very important. Okay. So we have done with 13 chapters, and today we are moving with the 14th chapter. So soon, by the beginning of the July, or in the July first or second week, you may have an internal test. Remember, because now the college has begun, we all have started to come to college. So soon there will be a meeting, and they will definitely engage an internal test for you. And don't neglect or be careless for your internal test. I know many of you take copy, or many of you cheat us, but you are not cheating us. We don't get any benefit when you get good marks. You will be a beneficiary, and you will get the benefits. Remember this. So whatever you know, try to answer it very honestly. Okay, the 14th chapter is at Port Stove. Okay, so the 14th chapter is at Port Store. Okay, to some extent, here Marvel behaves obediently by pretending not to know anything about the invisible man. On the other hand, simply the fact that he spoke to the mariner, the first place jeopardizes Griffin's mission. The mariner is suspicious of Marvel, and any conversation risk exposing the Griffin's secrets to even more people. So here, I will give you the summary now. I will give you the summary of the 14th chapter. Then I will deal with the deep analyzation. Here, in the last two chapters, as we have studied that Thomas Marvel, he was sent by Griffin, or the strange man, or the invisible man, to the Iping village and to the inn, or the hotel of Mr. and Mrs. Hall. Okay, why he has sent? Because there Griffin has forgotten his three important diaries. Griffin, or the strange man, or the invisible man, he has forgotten his three important diaries. Those diaries were very important for him because for his experiment. As you know very well, Griffin already has become invisible. He is trying much to make himself visible. Now, Griffin is trying much to make himself visible, but he doesn't know the exact formula. But he has written everything in his diaries. Unfortunately, he has forgotten those diaries when he was escaping from the Iping village. So he requests Thomas Morwell to get back the diaries which he has kept in the inn of Mr. and Mrs. Hall. Okay, so there Thomas Morwell goes, and here Thomas Morwell has kept, or he had a condition that once he gets back to the diaries, here Griffin, or the strange man, he has to tell him all the pinch to pin experiments, and he has to analyze him in the depth level, what is the experiment and what he is going to do. Okay, so in such condition, Thomas Marvel agreed to bring the diaries, and there even Griffin also keeps. He also puts a condition for Thomas Marvel. So what was the condition? You can get back my diaries. Okay, you can take my diaries, but on one condition, that nobody should know that you are taking my diaries. Okay, remember Thomas Marvel. I will show you the place where you have to go and where you have to search, but nobody should know that you are taking my diary. Okay, instead of indirectly, their Griffin or the strange man or the invisible man, he insisted that to steal the diaries. Okay, to rob the diaries. Fine, because without anybody's knowledge, that Thomas Marvel has to take diaries from the room or from the inn. Okay, so Thomas Marvel also agreed with the condition when he was knocking at the door of the inn, okay, which was the room of Griffin or the strange man or the invisible man in the earlier good old days. When he was knocking at the door, there immediately he saw two faces, two strange faces. So which was there? One is Dr. Cuss and another one is Mr. Bunting. One is Dr. Cuss and another one is Mr. Bunting. So what they did, they were also shocked, and there, as you know, Dr. Cuss was holding the diaries which was written by Griffin or the strange man or the invisible man, and the diary was carrying all the stories and all the important notes. It was a manually written notes by uh, Griffin about his experiment. Okay, but at the same moment, when Dr. Cuss was very happy, he was at the same moment, within a fraction of a second, he was disappointed. Why? Because the whole diary was spent in Greek, Latin, and Russian language. Here, these two guys, they don't want to read Greek, Latin, or Russian language. Here, Dr. Cuss or Mr. Cuss, he seeks the help of Mr. Bunting, because Mr. Bunting was a priest or a vicar age. Mr. Bunting was a priest or he was a vicar age. So here, Mr. Cuss or Dr. Cuss, he immediately relay or he was seeking the help of this Mr. Bunting, who was initially a priest in a church. As I have told you that how the Indians should be, I mean Indian priest, okay, or archakas should be expert in Sanskrit. In the same way, the Western country nuns or the fathers, okay, or the mothers, which we pray or which we worship them in the church, they have to be perfect in Latin. Why? Because the originally Bible has been written in Latin language. Remember, originally the Bible has been written in Latin language. So all the priests, the nuns, and the fathers of the Western countries, they have to be very perfect in Latin language. Here, with the same notion of assumption, um, Dr. Khas or Mr. Khas, he requests Mr. Bunting to read what is written in diary. But he could not read it because he was not very proper and he was not sure about the Latin language. He did not know it properly. Okay, so there they have faced problem. And when this was a heating discussion between them, okay, there comes Griffin. Okay, Griffin. He closes the door. He latches the door inside, and he tells them that your brain is dead. Okay, I will kill your brain. Okay, so if your brain is dead, I will kill your brain means I will kill you today. Okay, so they have escaped from the place, and later they bombast outside that Griffin has arrived. I mean, the strange man has arrived, or the invisible man is back to the place. Now he has gone mad, and everyone is panicked. Till now, the Mr. Bunting was inside the room, and now Mr. Kass or Dr. Kass was outside the campus, and he screamed a lot to this Mr. Bunting, insisting that their Griffin is back to the place, so be careful of him. So Mr. Bunting, he jumps from the window. Remember, Mr. Bunting, okay, who was, for everyone, okay, their life is very important. Their life is very important, okay. So Mr. Bunting jumps from the window and he ran away to the vicarage, okay. He ran away to the place. So this is what happened in the last chapters. So what's there in the 14th chapter? The 14th chapter is at Port Stowe. Okay. So let's see what's there. So it was next day, 10 a.m. Okay, it was morning. Marvel sits dirty and panting on a bench outside and in Port Stowe. So port, what is the meaning of the word port? If you want, I will write here in the chat box. So I would like to know what is the meaning of the word port. May I know the meaning of the word port? Am I audible to you properly? Am I audible to you properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Nidhi, have you followed what all I have talked now since the beginning of the class when I was discussing the stories of the last chapters?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So now, all of you, I guess you have textbook with you. I mean, not exactly the textbook. At least open the PDF which I have sent you much earlier. I mean, very early. That consists of your textbook, PDF of your textbook. I have shared it. If you have with you, please open it and let's see the 14th chapter that is at Port Stowe. In the 14th chapter that is at Port Stowe. So what does the meaning of the word port mean? P-O-R-T, port. See, we have Port Road in Belgium, which is very famous. So what is that port? Hmm? Am I audible to you?
Ma'am, it generally means a means of transport.
Okay.
Generally refer to the seaways where the ships, travel. That is port.
Okay, then this port, what we have, what's the spelling of that port?
Ma'am, I have no idea.
See, Killa, everybody near Sibiti. Nidhi, have you seen Durga Devi
No,
temple at
ma'am.
Killa? You have not seen Sibiti
Yeah,
of Belgium?
ma'am. Yeah, I've seen.
Have you not seen the Killa?
Yes, ma'am. I've seen.
So that is also called fort.
Okay, ma'am.
So what is the spelling of that fort?
FORT.
Very good. F-O-R-T. Fantastic. Okay. So one port which begins from the P, it is the bank of the sea. Bank of the sea means the lane or the place where the, please mute yourself, Jnaneshwari. See how the parking areas are there for your vehicles. In the same way, there is a parking place or the leftover place at the river bank or at the sea bank. Okay, so where the ships or the huge boats, okay, they stand or they no, when they are there at the banks. Janeshwari, please mute yourself. You always keep on disturbing, and I guess you have the connectivity issue. So please sort it very soon. My voice is completely audible to everybody. Is it right? Because Naneshwari has sent me a message that she can't listen to me properly. Samruddhi, are you there? Samruddhi, Kala, Mansi?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, am I audible to you properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Fine. So Dnyaneshwari, yourself has, your network has a problem. Please try to correct it. Because every day you message me, or see, in a class more than 10 times, I admit you inside. Well, so here the port store means it is also, store is a place of a name. Okay, good. Shraddha has messaged me that port means where ships load or unload. So here, just a second, I am writing in the chat box. See, port store. Okay, so this port store, it is the name of the beach, or as Shraddha said, where the boat or ships loads or unloads. Uh, you have Sea Rock Port. Have you seen that? Have anybody been to Gokula, Murdeshwar?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Just beside the temple of Murdeshwar, if you go for some 10 kilometers, you will get the Sea Rock Naukadala or the Sea Rock Port. I don't want the inside view, but at least you have seen that, what exactly it means. Okay, if you want to know, you can search in the web, you will get it. Okay, so there where the ship loads and unloads, and the materials are varying from place to place. We don't want that. Here, uh, uh, Thomas Morville, okay, he was sitting. It was morning 10 a.m. Okay, and there was a cool fight. There was a cold fight. There was a cold war between Thomas Morville and Griffin. Okay, see, there was a small fight or a cold fight between Thomas Morville and Griffin, because Griffin has insisted Thomas Morville to get back his all the diaries without the knowledge of anybody. Means he has to properly steal it. The work which the Griffin has assigned for Thomas Morville, he has not done properly. Okay, and now Thomas Griffin, once again, he has become the gossip of everybody. Okay, he has become the gossip piece of everybody mouths. Okay, once again, Griffin has become the gossip piece of everybody mouths. Okay, so here there was again a fight between Thomas Morville and Griffin. So Griffin has lost his temper and he decided that not to help this Griffin. See, remember, when they fight between them, there Thomas Morville decides that I should not help this Griffin because he has much attitude. Rather, I have to teach a lesson him by cheating him. Okay, remember? Rather, Thomas Morville decided that instead of helping him, I have to teach a lesson to him that should I cheat him. So what the cheating that he makes? So let's see now in the chapter 14th. See here, it was morning 10 o'clock. It was next day. Okay, Marvel sits and dirty. His pant was completely dirty, and he sits on a bench outside an inn. Okay, in Port Stowe. He is still carrying the books, but has abandoned the bundle. A mariner sits next to him and makes a small talk about the weather. The mariner stares at Marvel and hears the sound of coins dropping, which he finds odd considering Marvel's shabby appearance. The mariner begins to question Marvel about the books and then mentions a newspaper article about the invisible man. Marvel pretends to be ignorant of the matter and asks what is the article. The mariner tells him that the invisible man is supposedly in eye pink. Okay, so the mariner shows Marvel the article which recounts the events of Whit Monday. Marvel asks if the invisible returned to eye pink after the carnage he caused, and the mariner replies he didn't. The mariner adds that There are rumors that the invisible man is on the way to Port Stowe. He wonders aloud about all the things that the man could do without being caught. Okay. In a whisper, Marvel boasts that he knows about the invisible man through the private sources. Marvel begins to reveal that he knows. When suddenly he lets out a yelp of pain when the mariner asks what's wrong. Marvel replies that he has a toothache and that he needs to get going. The mariner insists on hearing more about the invisible man, and Marvel replies that it's a hoax. The mariner grows embarrassed, asking why Marvel didn't say that it was a hoax in the first place. The two get into argument while Marvel is moved around in the air in this in a strange manner. Marvel and the miner parts ways. Later, the miner hears from a friend that the first full of money was seen traveling through the air by itself nearby. The friend tried to grab the money, at which point he was knocked to the ground by an invisible force. The miner is at first not sure whether to believe the story or not. He spends a lot of time reflecting, but only 10 days later does he realize how close he personally came to the invisible man. So, this is what there in the chapter 14. So, in the chapter 14 at Port Stowe, the whole story or the whole chapter deals in the Port Stowe. Remember, the 14th chapter, they may ask you such a question that where the 14th chapter was dealt. I mean, where was the 14th chapter was placed? So you have to answer that it is Port Stowe. Okay, so there was a place or there was a port or a beach called Port Stowe, and after having a cold war or a fight with Griffin, Thomas Marvel has left him with his important diaries and some of other important materials which were very important for his experiment. So there Thomas Marvel has come to the Port Stowe, and it was early in the morning. He was very, he had become very dirty, and he sat on the bench, okay, in the Port Stowe. There beside him, a mariner. Okay, a mariner means a person who works in the boat or a ship. Okay, he comes and sits with him. They had a casual talk between them about the weather condition, weather report of the place, etc. And later, this ancient mariner or the shipping merchant mariner, he became very curious about the diaries which this Thomas Morwell was holding in his hand. And mariner asked him, what's the diary is about? Okay, what is the diary about? So then here, this Thomas Morwell says that it is about some experiments. So when Miner looks over the diaries, he tells that these diaries are about making yourself visible. And I have a good information about this invisible man. Okay, and there is an article on his name in the today's paper. So he gave the paper cutting or the article to read to Thomas Morwell. So it was clearly mentioned that the Thomas Griffin was might be in uh, the Iping village, and the article covered all the incidents which took place in the on the Whit Monday, or where exactly here Thomas Morwell knows more greater than what was written in the article. See, in the article they have written which they heard as gossip, but Thomas Morwell knew everything about this article or the situation or the condition of this Griffin or the strange man quite well. Okay. So later, when he reads the article, he keeps quiet. And later, Mariner also tells him that there is also a rumor that now here this strange man or invisible man, he is stepping towards our Port Stowe. Okay, he is stepping towards our Port Stowe. So when this Thomas Marvel comes to know regarding this news, he whispers for himself. He whispers for himself, saying that I know much about this griffin or the strange man. Okay, more than him, I know very much, and Prior to him, I know it very well. So after that, Marvel and Mariner parts away later. They also had a cold fight, and here the friend tried to. Then Mariner was informed that his friend, okay, had seen a person who was flying away by money was flying away in the sky, okay, money was flying away in the sky when his friend, okay, went to grab the money. So some invisible force, okay, some invisible force has knocked him to the down, okay, knocked him to the ground by an invisible force. The mariner is at first, he was not sure whether to believe it or not. He spends a lot of time reflecting, but only 10 days later does he realize how close he personally came to the invisible man. Okay, so this is what there in chapter 14. So tomorrow I will deal with chapter 15. Okay, so please start inserting your roll number. Start inserting your roll number. Are you understanding it? Those who have inserted, you can leave the meeting. Have you understood the lesson properly?
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.